Hi everyone, I'm Barri Ghai and welcome back to my channel, The Ghost Ghai. Now I've been waiting for this moment. The brand new Rev 3 2026 REM Pod has finally just arrived and I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. So in this video, we're going to unbox it together for the very first time, see what's new, and then I'll demonstrate all the updated features so you know exactly what this latest version is capable of doing on a real paranormal investigation. So let's get into it. This is the Rev 3 REM Pod device. It is brand spanking new, 2026 edition, and I've literally just received it. So the first thing you'll notice is it comes with this beautiful gift box. This is very different to the previous versions. You can see it's got branding on it and a picture of the actual device just here. That's quite good actually, in case you wanted to give it away as a gift to somebody. It's nice, and also you can put it back in there to store it and protect it. So let's open this up and see what we've got inside. Well, there you go. So Alistair Wells, Walking with Ghosts, he's provided his business card in there. So if you do want to buy one of these, he is the only UK distributor of Gary Galker's amazing REM Pod devices. So take a look at funkylighting.com. I'll put the link in the description on the video itself, so you'll be able to find it. Inside the box, you've got the instruction booklet. Now, I'm not one to really read the instructions, I never bother to, but in this case, I have already done my research and know exactly what this device does and how to use it. So I'm going to put this operating instruction booklet to one side just for a moment. So the first thing you'll notice, if I turn this round, you can see there's three separate compartments. You've got one compartment here, one here for the actual device itself, and a separate compartment along the top. Now, what's in these different compartments? So let's have a look. The first thing you'll notice is that we have a charging cable. This is a Type C charging cable. The REM pod itself is rechargeable. You don't need a 9-volt battery anymore. So this is the Rev 2. This is the old school REM pod device. That's the last version that was available. And you can see that there's a battery in here, a 9-volt battery. Well, this brand new Rev 3 device doesn't actually need a battery because you can charge it. You can plug it straight in. You just need a USB plug, and there we go. We'll take the wire off. And you can see there it has a Type C input there. That's the Type C charging plug. So you just need to put a USB plug on there, plug it into the mains, and that will be it. You've got your REM pod plugged in and charged. Now, it should already come with a charge, I'm assuming, as most of them do, because this will contain a lithium battery. So in the top portion of this box here, you've got a tripod. Let's take it out of its wrapper. So this tripod here means that you now don't have to just place the REM pod device on the floor to get dirty. If you've got uneven terrain, you can use a tripod, and I think this one is telescopic. There we go. So it does extend. If you pull these legs out, a bit stiff on that one, right? You pull the legs out, you can adjust the tripod for the height and desired height, and you'll be able to use this off the floor, which I think is really, really good. It's a nice little touch. Now, you could buy the tripod for this Rev 2 version, but actually you'd need to buy the screw-in block that sits at the bottom of this REM pod in order to fix the tripod to it, because as you can see, you can't actually put a tripod on this unless you've got some kind of mounting base at the bottom of the old REM pod. So it comes with this tripod. Let's put the legs back in. There we go. I think that's really good, and it sits nicely in there as well. So this is the actual device itself. This is the REM pod. So I'm going to take it out of its wrapper. Put that to one side. Now, the first thing you're going to notice here is that the antenna sits on top. This is already mounted to the actual device itself. Unlike the previous version of the REM pod, this one comes attached, which is great. Now you're thinking, well, actually it could easily break. Well, it doesn't, does it? Because you can fold it backwards and forwards, so you can store this away, and you've got the added bonus here of being able to pivot this antenna and fully extend it as well, and close it back down when not in use. Now this to me is brilliant. This feature is brilliant because I've lost several of those antennas. So here is the Rev 3. Let's just bring you the old version back again. So this is the Rev 2. So this is the older version. And as you can see, the antenna here unscrews. Now the antenna unscrews and you have to keep that separately. So you might well lose this, and that's a problem. Now, if you're like me and you lose things, this is perfect. The Rev 3 doesn't have a detachable antenna, or does it? Actually, there's a little rubber grommet just here on the back, and if you open that up, there's a screw in there, screw head, which is a Phillips screw. You can unscrew that antenna yourself, and you can replace this if you want to by purchasing another one and replacing it yourself, so you don't have to send it away to be repaired, which I think is a really good added bonus. Now you probably noticed another thing on here. If I leave the antenna up for a moment, you've got a battery charge indicator which goes red, amber and green, and it tells you how charged that battery is. At 25% of red, 50% if it's amber there or in the middle, and if the light is green, fully green, you've got 100% charge. Now I would also always advise you to fully charge your REM pod device before you're going on any paranormal investigation, and that will therefore avoid things like false positive readings when you're using it in the field. Now the other thing that I've just noticed on this is that the buttons are slightly different. These are new buttons as opposed to the old school ones here. So the Rev 2, this device here, this older REM pod, you've got buttons that stick out. They're a little bit more flimsy, they're a little bit more delicate, I think. So these buttons here are now different. So in the new Rev 3 device, you've got rounder, flatter, smoother and larger buttons, which I think is also quite a nice little touch. Everything else looks pretty much the same other than that battery charge indicator and the size of these buttons. Now the buttons, they do exactly the same thing. I think they're exactly the same as the previous version of the REM pod. You've got REM 0, which helps you to calibrate your REM pod device. So you're resetting the REM range to 0. That is the REM range. Now this is quite cool. This new REM pod device has 5 ranges, and by default when you turn it on, it's set at default 1. Now that is the field strength. So if you keep pressing the REM range button 5 times, you're going to increase the strength of the field and the distance, or the broadest range of detection, by 20% every time. So by pressing it once, you'll go to here. Pressing it twice, the field range will be extended a little bit further. So at the strongest or largest range of detection, that'll be if you press that 5 times, I'm assuming. The REM pod is used in paranormal investigation to detect the presence of spirits. We use this device as a way of communication, as a way of trying to identify whether or not any spirits are present or intelligent enough. Also, just because we want to see if there are any fluctuations in the electromagnetic field. This device will produce its own electromagnetic field. Thus the reason why you have this REM range button, because you can increase and decrease the strength of the field that it's producing. And what we want in the field is an interruption in that electromagnetic field. So if you can imagine, there'll be an invisible field of energy surrounding this antenna. And what we hope is that spirits are going to be able to come towards the antenna and towards the device, therefore breaking that electromagnetic field and interrupting that field, causing one of these lights to flash and the alarm to sound. You can change that field by using the REM range button. It's by default, it's set at default 1, which is like a 20% range. And then the more you press the button, the greater that field strength becomes. This device also has a temp 0 button, which means it's fitted with the ambient temperature detection system. So for every 1 degree change in temperature, this device is going to sound a small tone, an alarm almost, to signal that there has been an increase or a decrease by 1 degree of the ambient air temperature. That's quite good, and that's slightly different to the previous version, because previously there would be any subtle change in temperature would cause some kind of chattering of the of this device. You'd hear it constantly be making a noise, which can be quite frustrating and annoying at times. The REM pod will only make a sound if there has been an increase or a decrease by 1 degree in the ambient air temperature. Let's just move the box out of the way for a minute. And if I turn this over now, so just fold the antenna back down, I'm going to turn this device over. First thing you're going to notice is that it has the charging port just there. So that's where your cable, your Type-C cable, needs to be plugged in. So if I grab the cable from here, you'd plug that Type-C cable end into there, and you plug the other end into the mains or into a USB charging port. That is how you charge your new REM device. So it says DC input, direct current 5 volts. So that's your Type-C charging point in there. The first thing I've also picked up on here is that you've got these rubber feet, which is different to the previous version because you now have a base on here as the other versions didn't. And this would probably stop it from moving around actually. So if you place it upside down and you try to move it, the rubber feet keep it firmly in position, which is good because it's not going to slip, it's not going to fall off, and it also gives it an aesthetically pleasing base as well. There are 3 buttons here also. These buttons here will all be able to manipulate the audio that's going to be announced through the speaker. So the speaker at the bottom of this REM pod device will be there to allow us to hear the responses and also to hear the new features built into this, which would be telling us that there has been an interruption in the electromagnetic field, and also when there's a temperature fluctuation of 1 degree in either up or down. There's an on-off power switch at the bottom here, which is great because that's easily accessible, and there's a little bit of a recess here where the speaker sits, and I think that's because the tripod will fit nicely in the bottom here. If I get the tripod out of the box, the tripod will fit in here into that screw thread, and there will be a little bit of air between the tripod and the base of the REM device in order for the sound to be clearly heard, especially if you're working in the field and you're further away. Now these buttons are going to mute the sound of the individual feature of the REM pod device. So you've got a mute button here, which will probably mute it entirely. You've got the muting of the REM, so you won't hear the REM pod when the antenna goes off. You'll just see the lights flashing, which we'll talk about that in a moment. But then you're also able to mute the temperature and any change in the ambient air temperature. So that tone that you'll get whenever there's a 1 degree fluctuation in air temperature, you can mute that completely. If you don't want it on, just press that button. I really like this. I think it's a nice sturdy build. It looks better, it feels better, it feels more solid, which is really, really handy. So let's talk about the actual REM pod lights themselves. There are 5 LEDs that you can see here, these glass LEDs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they are all different colors. You've got a green one, you've got a yellow one, you'll have the blue one here. I'm assuming that one's purple, and this one here will be red. These have their own individual tone now, so you'll know exactly which light and what strength the REM pod has been interfered with, or if there's a field interruption, based on the tone that you will hear, you'll be able to identify quite clearly how strong that interruption is based on the color of the light that's going off and also the tone at the same time. I'll demonstrate that in a moment for you. So let's turn this device on now to see exactly how it works. So switch it on. Now straight away, it hasn't made a sound unlike the old ones because for 5 seconds there's a delay.
Field disturbance detected.
Amazing, I love it. So I'm going to mute the sound for the minute. Turn it over. Can you see there?
Field disturbance detected.
Mute REM, mute temp, mute. So I've muted all the sound for the second, okay? Just for the purposes of this demonstration. Let's turn the REM round, and I've opened up the antenna for you. Now what you can notice straight away is that the battery is fully charged at the moment. If I move towards the REM pod, ever so slightly, I'll move towards the REM pod, that range, that field, the electromagnetic field surrounding the REM pod device has been broken by my hands, allowing that green light to go off first. As I move my hands closer to the antenna there, you'll notice the next light, the yellow light goes off, which is the second level. Then you've got the third level, which will be the blue light, fourth level, which is the purple light, and then if I touch the antenna or the device, the red light will go off and you'll see that flashing in the middle. That therefore indicates that there is a huge change in the electromagnetic field and a spike in that field. The previous version of the REM pod didn't have that, so that's brilliant. So if I turn that over and turn it back on again, to unmute it, you'll just press the button here that says REM, press that again. Okay, now watch this. We'll move towards it. You can hear the tone go off and the green light flashes. I move towards it a little bit more, and that's yellow. That's the tone for yellow. That's the blue. That is purple, and then finally red. So there are 5 different tones, 5 different octaves and levels of noise that you can hear when this REM pod device has been activated. Now I'm going to turn it back over again. I'm going to unmute it completely. Now this is the fun bit. If one of those LED lights goes off and the field is interrupted by spirit in the field, it will now speak.
Field disturbance detected.
Field disturbance detected. That is Gary Galka's voice there. Let's try that again.
Field disturbance detected.
Now if I do it again quickly.
Field disturbance detected. Field disturbance detected.
Now there is a slight delay. Every time that the field is disturbed, that is the electromagnetic field,
detected.
you're going to get that response, which is great, okay? So it helps you to hear if there's any changes, not just from the tone and the sound of the REM pod device going off, but also to let you know that there's been a change in the electromagnetic field. There's been disruption in that EMF field, so you'll be able to hear that from distance, especially when it's mounted onto a tripod, and therefore you'll be able to react to it. This REM pod device has a pulse feature. It's something that Gary's built into it. It allows a fluctuation to be detected at very, very minute intervals and also quickly. I'm going to move my hand very quickly near the device, so I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to break the field and we might not even see the green light flash, but you'll hear it.
Field disturbance detected.
Let's try that again.
Field disturbance detected.
Let's change the REM range.
Field disturbance detected. Field disturbance detected.
I'm almost moving in and out of range very, very quickly.
Detected.
The green light might come on like this.
Disturbance detected.
We're going to hear the device itself announce that the field has been broken, and therefore we know that something has happened, something that we can possibly put down to anomalous paranormal phenomena. Let's turn that audio off again.
Field disturbance detected.
By default, this REM range is set to 1, which is at 20% field strength. So you'd have to get quite close to the REM pod in order to make that light go off. If I press it again, then the range is going to be slightly increased, and I'll press it for a third time. And again, that is a broader range of detection there. And then again, I pressed it one more time and I'm now a little bit further away. And finally, I should have the ability to have my hands quite far away and still be breaking the electromagnetic field that this is generating. Therefore, as I bring my hands closer to it, or as the energy gets closer to the device itself, all of those lights will flash and they will come off in that particular order now. So green, yellow, blue, purple, and then finally red. Now I've turned off the tone, and you can do that by just flipping the device over and just pressing the REM button there. That mutes the audio from the REM. This mutes the audio from the temp itself. That's the ambient air temperature, and that is an overall mute button there that stops any voice activation. It will stop the device from announcing whether or not there's been any field interruptions. But I kind of like that, because imagine having this device now on a tripod mounted there, and so you walk away, you're filming, you're investigating in a different area of the building, and something walks in and disturbs the electromagnetic field. It's going to announce it. It's going to say field interruption detected. Let's turn that back on again. And then there'll be about a 5-second delay.
Field disturbance detected.
That's brilliant. That is really, really helpful. I really love the new features. I love the fact that you've got this battery light indicator here, so you can plug it in. You have a rechargeable lithium battery already built into this, which is really helpful. So, you know, I go through so many batteries, and the old version, this one here, this is the older version, you have to put a 9-volt battery in the bottom there, and you've got to make sure that you change that, and it's a fresh battery nearly every time. So the difference between this Rev 3 and this Rev 2 is, number one, you've got the antenna, which is on the new version. It's foldable, so you won't lose it, it won't break. You can have it flat on top of the REM pod device. You can change the antenna as well, so you can actually unscrew it using this little rubber grommet here. You open that up and there'll be a screw in there which you can do, and then you can tighten that if this becomes loose, you see, which is quite helpful. But with the older version, you had the removable antenna here, and sometimes this thread can get loose or get damaged, and that could lead to false positive readings, I believe. So it's still a fantastic piece of kit, and one that served me well in the field over many years. But I think that the new version here has this brilliant feature, having a foldable antenna, which means I won't lose it. It's less likely to break, less likely to become loose, and cause contact errors, which will give false positive readings in this device. The next thing that I really like about this is definitely that the size of the buttons are bigger, it's flatter, they don't stick out in the same way as a previous model. And I love the fact that we've got these 5 LED lights that will only light up, indicating a change in that field strength. So it'll start off with the green light, then the yellow light, then blue, then purple, then red, and you'll know exactly how strong that field interruption is based on the light color change, and also the tone, the audible tone. The higher the tone, you know that the field strength has been broken totally, as in something has actually physically interacted with the antenna or the device itself, which is brilliant as a feature. And maybe over a period of time you'll get used to the sounds and the tones and the lights in combination. So when you're walking away from it and you hear it go off, you'll know based on the tone and the sound how strong that field interruption actually is. The REM range is exactly the same as the previous device. The REM 0, that just resets the REM range to 0, and the temperature as well, you can reset that. It's quite good to calibrate your device when you placed it down first time round. You press temp 0 so that it adjusts to the ambient air temperature. That way the temperature is not going to fluctuate constantly. Now this new build will only audibly change when there's a 1 degree rise or drop in temperature. So that's quite good in itself. And the tone that stays on to indicate the change in temperature will only last for around 20 seconds, and then it will shut off as well. And then the bottom of this is so good. You've got the built-in speaker there, you've got the mute buttons, you've got the power switch there, and you've got your charging point there. And don't forget, you've got these rubber feet to stop it moving around if you do place it on a flat surface like this table here. But you've got the added bonus of the tripod that comes in the box, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So well done, Gary, and thank you so much for this. This is brilliant. And don't forget, it comes in this box. So you've got your box, you can put it away, you can put your tripod back in there, and you've even got a little space here for the charging cable if you can screw it up nice and tight. But there you go, you've got your REM pod all boxed back up, ready to go for your next paranormal investigation. Thanks again for watching. Now I am genuinely impressed with the new Rev 3 2026 REM pod, and you'll be seeing it in action on my next investigation. Now if you'd like to pick up one yourself, head over to one of my favourite paranormal suppliers, Walking with Ghosts, at funkylighting.com. I've also dropped the link in the description below to make it easy for you. I'll be seeing you soon in the next video. Take care.